Graduates, family and friends, faculty, staff, students, and other guests, welcome to our commencement proceedings. I'm Hugh Porter, acting president, and I thank you for joining us to celebrate this important rite of passage. To begin where we should, let us all welcome with applause the class of 2019. Having worked at the college for many years, I enjoy our commencement, and perhaps particularly the displays of gratitude offered. First by students who line the walkway to applaud their faculty, and after we've completed our ceremony here, by faculty who line the same walkway to applaud our new graduates. Gratitude came to mind as I listened to the Reed Choral Concert this spring. In addition to music, the concert featured letters written by the barely teenaged Mozart to his mother and his talented sister Nannerl as Wolfgang and his father toured Italy. This voyage was Wolfgang's version of a college education, including examinations by strict rule-waging Italian clerics. I promise you the tenure committee would never permit such dullards at Reed. His other teacher was, of course, his father, Leopold, yet another strict taskmaster. Nonetheless, these journeys seem to have been joyful affairs for Wolfgang, and his letters home would always end with the conveyance of thousands or millions of kisses to his mother and to his sister. So, in that spirit of gratitude, class of 2019, please rise as you are able, face your families and friends who have supported you, and applaud them for their belief in you and support for you. Class of 2019, you have accomplished a lot during your time, Reed. It is truly remarkable, and you should all leave here with a true sense of a job well done and well worth doing. Reed is among the steepest climbs you could make during a college career. Like Mozart, you traveled away from home to hone specific skills to place your ideas about the world in a broader and well-structured intellectual context. What we love about Mozart most may be the genius of his fertile playfulness combined with the sounds and ideas he absorbed during those trips to Italy, the influence of Italian opera, its poetry, its melodies, its realism about human nature. While Mozart is an intimidating genius to measure against, his virtues, like yours, were both inherited and arduously educated. Remember the sparks of your genius you brought with you when you entered Reed, the ideas that you absorbed and that changed you during your time here, and the community that nurtured you. I have every confidence that your character and your demonstrated accomplishments will carry you graduates truly well in your lives' next chapters. It has been a pleasure to get to know more of you than I would have normally in my usual job for Reed, and that knowledge gives me great hope for the contributions you will make to our world. And now it is my pleasure to welcome Roger Perlmutter, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, to address you.
Thank you. Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Reed Institute and Reed College, it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the 105th commencement exercises of Reed College. To begin with, I'd like to thank Hugh Porter, who served as acting president during the past year, both wisely and well. And as he showed you in his discussion of Mozart, certainly as he says, an intimidating genius, Hugh's understanding of tempo and cadence and harmony and rest, I think, left the college in an even stronger situation as we welcome the next president coming forward in July. But I want to pause at this moment and thank Hugh for everything that he did. Let me also say that this is a special year for me because this year marks the 50th anniversary of my arrival in the Reed community. 50 years. So 50 years ago, I felt that I was joining a community of scholars. I wasn't sure exactly what that meant. But in fact, I was joining a community with a very strong set of values. Values that you've heard about and that you've, in most cases, come to believe in. The importance of critical thinking, of careful exposition, the critical reading of texts. All of these things, words that you've heard many times during the last 4 or so years, have helped to shape you as an individual. And I think on behalf of the trustees, we would say that we are grateful to you as we are to the faculty, to the staff, to everyone involved with this extraordinary community, that we've been able to preserve over the last 105 years a tradition that values the life of the mind. I can't tell you where this exercise will take you. The capabilities that you've honed over the last few years, because you arrived with them, but you've brought them to a higher level during this period. Those capabilities will enable you, of course, to lead lives of greater self-realization, but more importantly, will enable you to benefit the world. And that fundamentally helps you to answer life's most important question, which is, what did you do that mattered? Already, at your graduation, you've done something that mattered. You've passed an important test, and you're well launched to make a difference. Now, the reality is, if you'd only been here for a month or so, we would still consider you to be part of the Reed community, but you made it through the whole time. Our alumni office, of course, would have been careful to keep track of you, even if you'd only stayed for a month or so. They're going to be very careful to keep track of you now that you've completed this process. And here to tell you more about the alumni organization and what it means to be a graduate of the college, I'd like to welcome to the podium Lisa Saldana, who is president of the Alumni Board. Lisa.
Thank you, Roger. My fellow Reedies, so congratulations, class of 2019. It's very exciting to be here today. And it is my great pleasure to join you exactly 25 years later after where I sat exactly where you sit today. Exhausted from the thesis year, but excited about the next phase of life and the adventures that it would take me on. And also utterly and completely unaware of the thousands of Reedies that had come before me who were there to support me all along the way, although I didn't realize it. Sure, I had heard of Old Reed, but what I did not quite get at the time is that joining the Old Reed Club is actually a rite of passage that evolves over time and one that we all become a part of. You all are now a part of Old Reed because we are Reed. And with that, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the next phase of your Reed journey. Although you have completed your time on campus, this period has been just a fraction of your lifelong membership to the Reed community. Community has been defined by others as a network of individuals that are tied together by solidarity, a shared identity, and a shared set of norms. Reed, though, however, has communities within community. Those whose shared identities were developed perhaps over the lab, others who were found in the nooks and crannies of the library, or perhaps even, their preferred sense of community was found in the pool hall. Regardless, where you spent your time, these communities are going to expand far beyond your years here as a student on campus and evolve into a different but equally valuable lifelong safety net to support you and cast you and prop you up as you continue to strive through contributing to the world. 25 years ago, when I sat where you're sitting, I thought I had an idea of what my life would look like. Sure, I took those next planned steps. But what was unexpected was the realization that my path was much curvier than anticipated, with switchbacks that were so sharp that sometimes there were blind curves along the way. And what was most unexpected about that is that that was actually okay. And that often the most exciting, liberating, and stimulating experiences came from taking those risks around the curves. But knowing that there was a community that was there to support me and a community that's going to be there to support you ever so slightly makes it easier to take those switchbacks if you choose. And of course, not every risk ends well, but ideally you learn from it. And of course, not every person has the same tolerance for risk. And again, that is okay. Each of you sitting here today would not be here if you had not worked incredibly hard and stayed focused on a vision that is specific to you. And at Reed, we have the privilege of being rewarded for our independent thinking and our courage to synthesize it in such a way that ultimately culminates in our theses. And while, yes, you are sitting here today to receive the ultimate reward by this institution for completing those tasks, the lessons learned through the process of completing them, I hope, are not forgotten. And I hope that one of those lessons is learning to lean on your community. Doing so doesn't mean that you can't do things on your own, but that you don't have to if you do not want to. And even in those times when you decide that you do not want to lean on others, you make that choice knowing that, in fact, behind you, you have a team of community who are there to support you if it turns out you do need them, and who are quietly, or maybe sometimes not so quietly, rooting you on in the background. But I am also here because it's not just that you need us, we need you. Your voices, your ideas, your energy. You are what makes Reed Reed, and you are what makes me excited to think of the alumni community's future. So then let's talk pragmatics. Many of you are going to stay in Portland. Others will spread all around the world. If you go to the alumni page, I know it's the first place you guys are going to check when you're done here. You'll see that there are many chapter cities and chapter regions represented around the country and even internationally. I would encourage you, if you do live in one of these chapter regions, to reach out, seek out this community that is built and who's there to welcome you. Not only to participate in the stimulating conversations and the stimulating events that they're going to have, but also to build relations and to go ahead and to become a part of that community with people who have had some shared experiences with you. Not everyone finds themselves in these regions. I myself fall into that category, and I want to assure you that that community and that safety net is still there to support you. I encourage you to stay connected and to participate in the opportunities that Reed continues to do to bring us together, whether it be our in-person reunions, which you guys are all invited to this year, but also a travel abroad experience, a weekend at Westman. There are entire communities out there who are waiting to welcome you. And I am particularly excited to announce the opportunity for those of you who choose, I know you might want to break for a little minute, but who are interested to join in some of the alumni board's committees as ad hoc members. Currently, this includes a Diversity and Inclusion Committee, the Committee for Young Alumni, and the Reed Career Alliance. All three of these are developed by Reedies for Reedies. We hope that you join us, maybe because you want to volunteer with us, but also maybe because we might have some resources that you would find useful to help support you in your next step in the journey. Through these experiences, you will build a new network of supports, friends, mentors, and collaborators made up of people who you may not have ever met before, but who do understand the shared experience where we've all come from. In the words of Kierkegaard, life might only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. So today, I welcome you to the Reed alumni community. On behalf of the Alumni Board and as your president, I am humbled to offer you congratulations, class of 2019.
Thank you, Collegium. It was beautiful. It's now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker as chosen by the class of 2019. Like our seniors today, Mira Kamdar is a Reed graduate having majored in French. She went on to win several prestigious fellowships and to earn her PhD from Berkeley. A former senior fellow and acting director of the World Policy Institute in New York, and a member of the editorial board of the New York Times, Mira is also the author of several books, as listed in your program. Please join me in welcoming Mira back to Reed and to the podium.
Thank you, Acting President Porter. And I want to thank the students, faculty, and staff who nominated me to speak today. I am really very humbled. On a personal note, I want to thank my sister, Devyani, a Stanford, she didn't know this was coming, a Stanford grad who flew up from San Francisco to listen to me talk for 10 minutes as if she hasn't had to listen to me talk at length since we were kids. Some of my old Reed friends who live in Portland are here today with us as well. I'm sure they feel as pinch me, this can't be real, seeing me up here as I feel now. Class of 2019, trust me, after what we all go through here in 4 very intense years, you are bonded to your Reed friends for life. And hey guys, my friends over here, just a reminder, those who knew me back then, what happened at Reed in the 1970s stays in the 1970s. Some of my daughter Anjali Clay's Reed class of 2017's friends are here too. Oh, I see she has a cheering squad. She so wanted to be here today. In any case, it's really sweet to come and listen to your friend's mom talk. Finally, I want to thank you, class of 2019, for choosing me as your commencement speaker. I am deeply honored. And again, please take an instant to turn to your parents, your friends, your lovers, your faculty advisors, and mentors, because no one gets through Reed alone, and give each other a great big hand. You deserve it. You know, there's another reason I am excited to be here today. I finally get to participate in a Reed commencement ceremony. When I graduated from Reed in 1980, my parents were living in South Korea, where my father's job had taken them, and they simply couldn't afford to fly over. I felt so sad they couldn't be here to attend commencement that after I turned in my thesis, I left Portland. Well, as it turned out, my parents weren't the only ones who weren't able to attend Commencement 1980. That day turned out to be far more momentous than anyone anticipated. Sunday, May 18th, 1980. Does that date ring any bells in the audience? That's the morning Mount St. Helens, located just 53 miles from here, literally blew its top off in a gigantic eruption. Yeah, Mount St. Helens erupted on the day of my Reed graduation. I'm really going to try not to read any kind of omen into that. The eruption of Mount St. Helens was a reminder of how volatile and unstable the Pacific Northwest is, sitting as it does along the Pacific Ring of Fire. Some of you may have read The Really Big One, an article published in The New Yorker in 2015. The subtitle sums it up: an earthquake will destroy a sizable portion of the coastal Northwest. The question is when. Well, luckily, the big one hasn't happened yet, and no one knows when it will. Let's all hope, geological time being what it is, it's many, many years from now. Or at least until I get on my flight out of here tomorrow. Seriously, though, the truth is nothing lasts forever. I'm sure when you arrived at Reed as freshmen, your college years stretched out in front of you like an infinite expanse. And here you are today, all done. We know our planet won't last forever, but we hope it will remain inhabitable through your lifetime and those of your descendants for generations to come. But as all of you are aware, it's not looking so good. You are going to embark on your post-Reed lives in a world that is far more fraught than the one I graduated into in 1980, Mount St. Helens aside. From my generation to yours, I want to apologize for the state of the planet and for not forcing action far earlier to save it. But I also want to tell you it's far from over yet, and that as long as I live, I will do whatever I can and cheer young activists on to avert the worst. I mean, Greta Thunberg, right? Teenage climate activist shaking up the world. She's my hero. She's like amazing. No one knows how this is all going to play out, but we do know that we are living in a critical period, an era of mass extinctions of plant and animal life, of climate change inflicting more extreme weather, triggering mass migrations, threatening our food supply, and causing polar ice to melt at faster and faster rates. As if that weren't enough, the rise of ethnic nationalism and far-right populism is threatening the greatest guarantor of our freedoms, our democratic institutions. Anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism are on the rise in the United States and also in Europe, where I live. The hard-won rights of women, minorities, LGBT people, and immigrants, not to mention scientific inquiry, academic freedom, and free speech, are under attack. We are all called upon by these outrageous environmental and political circumstances to resist. There are many forms this resistance, thank you. There are many forms this resistance can take. At this point, it can be an act of defiance simply to be who you are, to embrace with pride your sexual identity, the color of your skin, your religious beliefs, or lack of religious beliefs. I mean, hell, just wear a Reed t-shirt with the motto communism, atheism, free love. I'm only partly kidding too. I exhort you, cherish what you learned here. Cherish science. Cherish the arts. Speak truth to power. Vote and help get out the vote. March in the streets if you are so moved. Resist fear. Refuse hate. Spread love. These are vital, necessary acts. As Reed graduates, thanks. As Reed graduates, you have been initiated into what the Reed College mission statement calls the intrinsic value of intellectual pursuit, governed by the highest standards of scholarly practice, critical thought, and creativity. These values have never been more precious than they are today. You know, I remember a visit I made as a 9-year-old to some very rich relatives in Bombay, India. I remember the black and white marble floors, the teak fans slowly turning overhead. The family had made a fortune in Burma, then lost it after the Japanese bombed Rangoon in 1942. Then they'd clawed their way back. The head of the family, an elderly man, dressed in the Gandhian style of a simple white cotton dhoti, gave me a little present. As he tucked it into my hand, he said, looking at me straight in the eyes, "Remember, money can be made and lost, but an education can never be taken away from you." I have never forgotten his words, and there is no doubt in my mind that it was the education I received at Reed College that allowed me to have an incredibly rich and improbable professional life. I am a woman of mixed ethnic heritage, Asian Indian and Danish American. There was almost nothing I studied here that spoke directly to my origins. There weren't many non-white students at Reed in the mid-70s, and I'm glad to see that's beginning to change. And yet with a degree in French, I became an author of books on India and an editorialist at the New York Times. And that was made possible by the education I received here, where more than the content of what I studied, I learned to think critically, to make connections between seemingly disparate phenomena, to argue a point of view and express myself cogently. It is these skills, more than the biology or the literature or the history or whatever else you majored in, that will serve you, class of 2019, the rest of your lives. Think of your Reed education as your existential toolkit. Honestly, if my life is any gauge, you can do anything. After a year off playing hooky as a street musician in Paris, I returned to Reed and finished a degree in French. Went on to get a PhD in French at UC Berkeley and was hired as a professor of French at Louisiana State University. So far, on track. But then, appalled at the idea of living in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for the rest of my life, no offense to any, to any Louisianans out there, I'm sure it was just the humidity. I put everything I owned into my Subaru and drove to New York City, not really knowing what I would do. I ended up working for a high-powered public relations firm on things like cross-border mergers and acquisitions. I made some money, and I could have made more, but I got bored. Then out of that high-flying New York international business world, I got hooked up with the World Policy Institute at the New School, and I started writing op-eds on India. My Indian grandmother died. I missed her. I wrote a memoir about the Indian diaspora. It won a couple of prizes. I wrote another book about India that did well. I found myself pegged as an India expert with degrees in French. I mean, who could imagine? Then in 2010, I won a Fulbright Senior Scholarship for a project on India in Paris, and I decided to stay in France. Again, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I did some teaching at Sciences Po, and then I was contacted by the New York Times editorial board out of the blue in 2013 when the Times did away with the International Herald Tribune, which I really still miss as a newspaper, but someone had read something I wrote. And having never worked as a journalist, I wrote up to 12 editorials a month for the next more than 4 years. I wrote on the terrorist attacks in Paris in 2015, on Europe's migration crisis, on mass executions in Saudi Arabia, on the disappearance of our forests, on plastics in our oceans, and on all sorts of other topics that seemed urgent and wrong and important to set right. Last year, I returned to my own writing, publishing another book on India, as well as my first book in French, a collection of columns inspired by Hindi words for the French weekly Courrier International. Now I'm writing a new book on Paris based on stories I've published in the New York Times and in the New York Review of Books, and so in a way, I've come full circle. I am 61 years old, which probably sounds very old to you. I'm actually probably older than most of your parents. But you know, standing up here, I remember Ren Fair back in the 70s on these lawns like it was yesterday. And oh boy, were there some gifted chemistry students at Reed in those days. And I still feel today the same intellectual passion and the same urgency to make a difference in this world as I did back then. And you may find this incredible, but I also still feel the same fear of failure and doubt that I felt when I arrived on this campus as a 17-year-old from a middle-class family that couldn't afford Reed tuition. I had gone to a working-class high school in Eugene that had never before sent a student to Reed, just 100 miles north. At Reed, I met for the first time kids who had trust funds and had been to elite boarding schools and had already read books I had never heard of before. Kids whose parents were famous or rich or both. I owe a great debt to Richard Dent, the Reed College financial aid officer at the time, who always found a way to make sure I got the financial aid I needed. So Dick, wherever you are, thank you so much. I had dinner recently with an extremely famous author in New York, whom I'm not going to name here since this is going up on the internet and everything. He's a decade older than I am, and he just finished his latest book. People who've read it say it's good. I don't know, he said, looking away from me. We'll see what the reviews say. The fear of failure that some of you may feel now just never goes away. But as long as you have a passion for what you do and the satisfaction of making a positive difference, no matter how small, you'll be okay. Opportunities will present themselves to you that you cannot imagine now. That's how life is. So, class of 2019, my core message to you as you set forth from this day is, to paraphrase Ernest Hemingway on Paris, I can get away with this, right? Because I live in Paris. A Reed education is a movable feast. You saw that coming. But seriously, you get to take it with you, and no one can take it away. Revel in it. I wish each and all of you great good luck on your life's adventure. Welcome to the distinguished ranks of Reed College alumni. We are very proud to have you join us. Thank you.
Will the candidates of the Division of the Arts please rise?
Mr. President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, of the Division of the Arts.
On the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Wilson Altilio. Sophie Kaiulani Bolome. Mia Bell Bonilla. Alexander Logan Brigham. Emily E. Broad. Juliana Cable. Rose Rudo Driver. Kate Rebecca Falardeau. Ryan Morgan Gamblin. Michael Barry Goldman. Joshua James Golson. Evan Brown Gordon. John Philip Jackson. Emily Ann Kind. Erin Ann Lauderdale. Arson Ashlyn Leese. Kelsey Lynn Lohr. Morgan Jean Meister. Liam Warren Elcoley Mitchell. Hannah Faith Miller Liley. Samantha Hannah Nunberg. M. Prull. Robert G. Schrader. Rose Leah Tabachnik. Sierra Faye Wilensky. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates of the Division of History and Social Science please rise?
Mr. President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, from the Division of History and Social Science.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Nikita Airy. Emily Louise Allen. Alistair Yarrick Augustin. Elena Billy Nicolas. Avril Sharon Carrillo. Louis James Ian Chapman. Malina Chinibash. Shenwei William Chen. Bailey McCabe Kruger. Hattie Lucienne Plocher Dalzell. Abigail Andrea Demos. Thao Quyên Tin. Nicholas Shungming Egan. Nathaniel James Eifert. Owen Fasant Eaton. Ariel Dawn Finstrom. Ashley Kane Fox. Nicholas Frangenberg. Karin Frieda. Julia Lucia Gattegno. Abigail Jean George. Lensa Anna Ganetti. Alexandra Regine Gomez Lacayo. Grayson Matthew Gothard. Archer Amelia Grano. Aiko Bailey Grant. Owen Andrew Haygood. Yassine Hashmi. Jacob Gilbert Heyman. Ivy Chang He. Savannah Ray Hughley. Uma Maria Illaverison. Brenna Grace Intaman Milligan. Simye Rose Isabel. Laura K. Jadid. Molly Catherine Overton Johnson. Kendall Aquia Kreider. Sarah Helen Leffler. Mia Lurng. Catherine Ye Liu. Briley Ayers Lofton. Catherine Leanne Laux. Catherine Ann McDougall. Austin Christopher Magleby. Corey Lee Magruder. Carmen Louisa Mateo. Jonathan Edward Matz. Kelly Ann McDonough. Gabriella Heron Mead. Adeline Cynthia Jane Meyer. Sonia Michelle Morud. Eric Joseph Mount. Caitlin Marie Nigro. Anna C. Normark. Emily Marie Norwood. Una Kathleen Palmer. Guillaume Christian Manuel Young Roberol. David Tippins Reinitz. Sarah Modine Richmond. Chance C. Robbins. Kyle Lucas Robertson. Hannah Zoe Faye Rosenthal. Alexander Sachs. Ethan Frederick Sandweiss. Gordon Pickering Schmidt. Asher Samuel Shaw Smith Gendelman. Isaiah Max Silvers. Asher Dylan Sorensen. Daria Sowell. Luke Zatmary. Amelia Marie Tomlinson. Mai Toyohara. Savannah Jade Turner. Isabel Grace Velez. Tessa Marie Verbal. Shayna Lane Waldman. Colin Jacob White. Taylor Sloan White. Colin Robert Whitmore. Shelby Monique Williams. Gabriel Jung. Alice Moskal Zelenak. Lindsay Leanne Zigmont. Miriam Lillian Zittler. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates of the Division of Literature and Languages please rise?
Mr. President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, of the Division of Literature and Languages.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Emma Larea Adist. Kevin Alarcon. Molly Dodd Anderson. Aloysius Bell. Kira Basare. Lila Boyajian. Jerry M. Brand. Maya Francesca Broder. Thomas Ocean Connor Selt. Martha Madeline Cohn. Joshua Joseph Dassa. Lou Lila Ellingson. Sienna Nesbitt Fox. Sadie Marguerite Harmon Pierce. Jocelyn Rose Holbert. Julia Alicia Jacobson. David Elijah James. Quincy Kitson. Aditi Kumar. Alexis Yumika Nato Ladge. Marnie Faye Levin. Callie Ma. Elliot Menard. Nathan Maudlin. Clementine Lee Morse. Naomi Gabriela Nabahi. Gatlin Newhouse. Kieran Nugent. Claire Victoria Pask. Natasha Michelle Perino. Camille Marie Piazza. Joshua Harrison Plastrick. Christopher Evan Stassi. Joel Alexander Staudinger. Claire Karina Stevens. Isabel Ann Sullivan. Kirk Coley Svensson. Stephen James Valeri. Ruby L. Vergara Grindel. Jordan Delaney Witt. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates of the Division of Mathematics and Natural Sciences please rise?
Mr. President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, of the Division of Mathematics and Natural Sciences.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Hayden Grant Adolph. Azra Yasmin Ahmed. Sean Christian Allen. Krishna Anand. Edsel Miguel Arce. Matthew Stephen Atterbury. Natasha Catalane Boss Thomas. Miles Alexander Baker. Beetle. Patrick M. Bedard. Miriam Israela Byrne. Indra Boving. Hannah Sage Bronstein. Erica Emily Bull. Ganesh Chaturvedi. Tara Danielle Clayton. Joseph Riley Cruz. Cui Zichun. Brianna Elise Dobson. Ellis Daniel Duma. Tanmay Dubey. Toria Elizabeth Ellis. Ethan Julius Warren File. Charles Justice Fleischman. Jordan Riley Gillespie. Sarah Catherine Gross. Aminta Claudette Gay. Varick Harris. William Hamilton Harris. Colin Christopher Hawkinson. Patrick William Hoffswell. Dylan Huff. Taylor J. Huntington. Suzanne Michelle Hyman. Nicole Minana Johnston. Ruth Emmett Kahn. Michael John Kalanji. Rhodey Danielle Kaner. Hyun Soo Kim. Maeve Margaret Rose Kolk. Jennifer Sini Lake. Amy Rose Lazarte. Jay Lee. Alexander Lloyd Damjanovic. Alexandra Joy Lukides. Nathaniel James Lefkowitz McFadden. Grace Martin. Peter R. McElroy. Tommaso McPhee. Nancy Stewart McWilliams. Gwendolyn Ann Miller. Alexander Michael Moore. Mylene Marie Asako Nakashima. Anantan Nambiar. Nguyễn Đức Phong. Nicole Catherine Neeson. Brandon Cole Novi. Madeline Marie O'Kelly Bangsberg. Susanna Oram. Cordero Vineyard Harris Ortiz. Carolyn Eden Padula. Hamin Park. Benjamin Gordon Patterson. Grayson Ezekiel Perez. Pallavi Prakash. Zia Rady. Angelica Asra Richardson. Miranda A. Rintoul. Cameron Grace Roberts. Karis Amber Roberts. Piper Rodolph. Trevor Reed Schlack. William Patrick Scott. Benjamin Skinner. Lido Sola. Una Sullivan Marcus. Marika Louise Swanberg. Jacques Oliver Troutman. Torrin J. Woods Elliott. Tristan J. Wild LaRue. Caroline Mary Yearwood. Ziyuan Zhong. Evgenia Vladimirovna Zhukova. Jalen Ali Ziad. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates of the Division of Philosophy, Religion, Psychology, and Linguistics please rise?
Mr. President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, for the Division of Philosophy, Religion, Psychology, and Linguistics.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon the students of this division the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
David Garrett Adcock. Atia Joseph Bailly. Chiara Bossere. William Edward Brown. Michael Benjamin Carbone. Savannah Lynn Charlish. Sarah Castle Cordova. Maya Darrow. Marshall Stephen DeFore. David Paul Dunn. Liv Engel. Lucas Fagan. Estella R. Fox. Arthur Scott Garrison. Naomi Ginsburg Warren. James Manomet Glass. Alexa Devon Harris. Camille Alexandra Hendry. Andrea Denise Herrera Gurish. Riley E. Hurt. Harry Vigo John Jensen. Felicia S. Jing. Michaela Veronique Joseph. Linnea Jeanette Kelly. Adrian Willow Leary. Lydia Antonievna Lutsishina. Nicholas Anthony Marsico. Paloma Victoria Martinez Picasso. LJ Matthews. Jonah Ford Mensch. Melanie Meredith. Eduardo Antonio Roberto Navas. Tehniat Navid. Sa Nelson. Anders John Pearson. Manamaya Rayanalyn Peterson. Eric Bjorn Ryan Youngworth. Alyssa Reisman. Beatrix Rowland. Liliana Santos Vallejo. Daniel S. Schultz. Kara J. Schwartz. Micah Grayson Semrau. Oscar Ludwig Söderberg. Olivia Carol Spires. M. Stoddard. Nikhil Wadhwa. Hugo Joseph Newberg Wasserman. Alexandria Yvonne Watson. Jesse Wilson. Rain S. Wilson. Elena Nell Whitmer. Riley Hall Woolen. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates who have completed interdisciplinary majors please rise?
Mr. President, I present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates, both present and in absentia, who have completed interdisciplinary majors.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon these candidates the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Ayman Absar. Mariam Pasha Ahmed. Karim Carlos Alamdari. Edwin Alvarado. Cassandra Aurelie Arkema. Charles Roger Bales. Joshua Moses Roth Bastaki. Anthony Lawrence Benchivengo. Isabel Lynn Berman. Marissa B. Borrego. Bellamy Grace Brownwood. Gail Chan. Janvi Derochuni. Theodore Dunias. Sarah Helen Erickson. Maya Hitana Feldhaus. Ethan Kent Gordon. Zoe Gregozek. Caitlin Gutowski. Aoife Mary Bridget Hawk. Nilufar Imani Pasand. Alexander Julian King. Ricky Wenshin Yu. Melissa Diane Malloy. John Joseph Mulholland. Kyle Northrop Nesbitt. Sarah Ayana Nixon. Michelle Marie Owens. Mary Edith Snook. Alec Gil Stashevsky. Patrick Figuet Stein. Tiffany Han Teo. Logan Michael Tibbetts Eaton. Julia Burke Todhunter. Lana M. Tolis. Renee Wu. Justine Rose Wire. Edward Ming Tu. Will the graduates please be seated? Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies please rise?
Mr. President, I present for the degree of Master of Arts in Liberal Studies the candidates both present and in absentia.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Reed College and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon these candidates the degree of Master of Arts with all the rights and privileges thereunto appertaining.
Alexander John Lemons. Claire Elizabeth Mickey. Elizabeth Suzanne O'Neill. Will the graduates please be seated? I now invite your applause for the class of 2019. Thank you.